Coach Carlotta.
I met Rachael in high school when I was the assistant softball coach at Broken Arrow High School. One of my favorite memories of her was in 2002 in the Oklahoma Softball State Championship tournament when in the first round of the tournament, Rachael had 7 runs batted that included a grand slam home run. I also remember her as a hard worker and great young lady. I would like to congratulate Rachael for being inducted into the Northeastern State University Hall of Fame.
It's been a minute since I've been in front of this many people, so bear with me. I want to welcome everybody to Tahlequah. If you haven't had a chance to drive by the campus, please try to do that. It's one of the few campuses left that you can actually drive through and see everything, so it's still a beautiful campus as when you went here. I'd like to thank John and Megan, wherever Megan is, and John, Megan, Andrew, Don, everybody that has had a part of putting this on, the head coaches, the assistant coaches, graduate assistants. It takes an army to do things like this, so I'd like to thank those that took part of this. I did visit graduate assistants, and I get to right or wrong from a long time ago. In 2007, we went to regionals. And they had a nice reception for us and everything, and I'd written down things I was going to say. And I totally left it in the hotel. So I was like, okay, I'll just wing it. Well, you know what happens when you wing it. Kia, my graduate assistant at the time, I did get a chance to thank her publicly for all the things that her and her family, because she, in 2007, she had a little baby girl, Brindley, in January. And Brindley made about every game. So it was amazing, the support that he had. And I remember at that reception, all the coaches got to speak, and I was gonna tell everybody that Brindley has already secretly, verbally committed. So don't even try. So she was, 3 months old. So. And she's I need to talk to our softball coach because she's a very good athlete and needs to come here. But I just wanted to publicly thank you and the family. I'm glad they're here. All those things that assistant coaches and graduate assistants do is nobody sees it. So I just wanted to write that. I've always regretted that. I can't do that. So another regret I've had is this next young lady that I'm getting ready to talk about is not trying to find a way to sign her out of high school. I didn't, at that time, I had 20 players and 4 scholarships, and I wish I had sold my car and got you here 2 years early, but we finally did get you here. And then she, proceeded to, blow the roof off the conference stats. But I knew she was a good hitter. I did in high school. I mean, you just heard about the stats she had in the state tournament. And I watched her, hit for several years. I knew she was a good hitter. But you never know if they're a good hitter until in college, because it spins a lot more. And India can tell you about spin all day long. But I had a plant in the VA coaching system. Remember Brittany Hargis? She was a pitcher at another school in Missouri we won't talk about. But I was one of her coaches, and she could throw. She had spin. Not as nasty as yours, India, but it was nasty. And she told me one day, she goes, I can't strike this girl out. And I was like, what? What are you talking about? I've seen her curveball break, And she can't strike her out. And I'm like, okay, I'll try to do something. But we finally got Rachael to NSU. And where she did proceed to welcome the Lone Star Conference with batting .430 and 6 home runs and 135 at bats in her first year. And then she proceeded to have 1 strikeout and 135 at bats. Yeah, and that's, you know, that just doesn't happen. I mean, you have bad umpires, right? So, you'll agree with me on that. I mean, they're bad umpires, yes. So we, you know, that was '06, and she came in and just lit it up. I mean, she did so many things. I was like beating myself for not getting in there 2 years early again. Then in '07, we pretty much had a returning staff, a returning team and everything, and you know, teams try to figure out how to pitch around her, like any smart coach would do, is pitch around you or hit you or something. I don't know. But you know, I think she got more walks that year, but it was, you know, she did 349. She batted 349, which is pretty good. It's really good. Okay. She had another 6 home runs and 149 at bats. You know, with those strikeouts, he had 3. 3! I know. Wow. And we didn't play as teams. We played ranked teams, because I knew the only way we could get to regionals is to play ranked teams and play tough teams. So that's the only way I knew we were going to get there. But, you know, those numbers are no doubt impressive. But 4 strikeouts and 284 bats. That's impressive. I mean, I've seen professional baseball players strike out 4 times in a game. So, that was very impressive. I mean, those stats are unheard of. But as an old school coach, and I think Kia would agree with me that we were old school. I was more defense oriented. You know, if you can't score, I can beat you. So, but Rachael, she was our second baseman, and don't shoot me, Shay, or any other shortstops out here. But second base in softball, I think, is the most difficult position to play, because you've got left-handed slappers, you've got bunts, you've got a lot going on. So, and she covered all that stuff. And then Rachael ended up with a career at the .987 percentage. 987. She had 4 errors in 2 years. So all those stats, you know, they're obviously very impressive, and deserves every bit of it. But what made her special, and her really special, was her presence on her team. And that team had a lot of great leaders, all the way seniors, juniors, had a lot of really good, solid kids. I didn't have to do bed checks like with other teams. You know, take the door, make sure they don't sneak out, all that fun stuff. Yeah, you gotta think like a criminal sometimes. But she helped take the pressure off. You know what I mean? Her presence helped take the pressure off of everybody else. Everybody just they just played. So she was respected by her teammates and her coaches. She worked hard at practice. I mean, Kia and I, one of our goals every day was to get a ground ball by her. That was one of the goals, her and Shay. I think they had a little competition going on between the two of them. You get that, I'll get that. So, but between the two of them, it was a really tough, the whole infield was really tough. And you had India striking out everybody, so you didn't have to work some days. So, but that hard work at practice, it really made everybody else work hard too. And it pushed them and made everybody else step up also. So those are the things that make her special besides all those great stats, okay? That '07 team had some great leaders, like I said. And I have a picture in my garage, a little workspace. It's that picture, I think, Karen, you took it. It was the last of the Redmond. And we were the last team to play as Redmond that year, before we changed over to the Riverhawks. And that team, they did us proud. They did Redmond proud. So we finished up with the regionals that year. I think we were the last team playing. So I'd also like to thank Rachael's family, Kay, was at every game. I heard her every time. Her mom, her dad, her sisters, they're all very supportive. That takes a lot. All those times they took you to practice and washed your uniforms and all those other things that mothers have to do. So I do want to thank your family for being so special too. I guess that's my thing. All right. Thank you. I did it. Now I'd like to introduce you. Yeah, I know all about it, but you didn't know anything about it. I'd like to introduce to you Rachael, one of the last of the Redmond. If you're wondering why she was playing that song, that was my all-time song. Thank you for the wonderful introduction. I don't know if I can say there's that good, but I thought maybe it was because you were trying to make up for the 6 a.m. runs that we were doing. And then Coach Varner, she might have been actually a corporate owner. When I sat down to write tonight's speech, I initially thought, okay, like, what am I going to say to make people be able to remember me? And then I thought about it and I was like, nobody's going to remember me. So, and then I thought, okay, well, I'll just wing it. And then I thought, well, everybody's going to think I'm irresponsible and didn't prepare. So, this probably isn't going to be the best speech of all time. So I'm just kind of going with my heart. So bear with me. I want to first congratulate all the other inductees that I shared tonight's wonderful accomplishment. Your representation of NSU as a spectacular student athlete will forever live on and resonate in the halls of this school. It is still very strange for me to think that I am joining you on the list, but again, congratulations to each and every one of you. I also want to thank John and Andrew and all the people, the Hall of Fame committee and everyone that put together this lovely event tonight. I can't imagine how much time and effort you guys had to put in to be able to do that, so thank you. Growing up, being a softball player was both my passion and my identity. I vividly remember the skies of my youth, the time spent under the sun, digging my cleats into the beloved dirt, the perfect sound of the ball, meeting the sweet spot of the bat, feeling sweat pour down my face as the crowd cheered after a comeback win. The softball field was where I felt the most comfortable, the most confident, and the most inspired. I guess as cheesy as it sounds, inspiration is just as bright as the sun, bringing down on the softball diamond. But even on the stormy days, I learned valuable lessons about perseverance, teamwork, and the sun would always magically reappear, either later that day or another day down the road. These moments shaped who I am today. To me, being recognized for my accomplishments is not just about individual achievement, but about the countless relationships made along the way. Coaches who believed in me, pushing me to recognize my potential when I often couldn't see it. My teammates who provided the unwavering support and camaraderie that only those who share the diamond can understand. And especially the ones here tonight who have tasted sweet victory only to ultimately also feel the agony of defeat. Each of us has woven our own unique story into the fabric of this institution, and together we represent resilience, collaboration, and sheer determination. It is this journey I took alongside the teammates of the 2006 and 2007 Lady Reds that I am privileged to celebrate with you today. Thank you, Amy, Shay, India, Kia, and Coach, for taking the time away from your busy lives and your own families to be here tonight. My individual success was just an extension of the team created by Coach Gerlach. None of this would be possible without her. So Coach, thank you for not only facilitating my career here, but for providing the most team-oriented atmosphere that I've ever had the privilege of being a part of. My career as a Lady Red was by far some of the best years of my softball career and my life. Coach, you not only taught me how to be a good ball player, but a good human being. Besides the struggles I endured as a player, you were also there for me during my struggles in life. I genuinely mean it when I say I couldn't have anything with that. So
I also want to say thank you to my husband Paul, my daughter Charlie, and my son Liam for being here tonight with me. They are true saints for listening to my constant softball stories and memories and letting me live out my dreams as a coach for my daughter's softball today. Lastly, I want to thank my mom. Without her constant support, beginning on day one as a timid first grader with a pink jersey to my last game as a Redmond, you have never left my side and have always been my biggest fan. Regardless of the outcome, you never had anything but positive things to say. And the good old tagline, well, you'll get it next time. You've always lifted me up and given me the confidence to achieve more, not only in softball, but in life. This award is as much hers as it is mine. Thank you, Mom. Love you.